Hi guys, it's Katie here again from Creativa, and I'm doing some more pages in my Broderie SVG Mini Album today, and so I'm hoping that you'll follow along with me. I will start straight away and get into it, and we can chat as we go. So let's start by saying that SVG files for this mini album are scalable vector graphic files, and you can instantly download them and use them in your cutting machine like a Cricut, a Silhouette, or a Brothers Scan and Cut. So I use a Cricut. I love my Cricut, and it's an expensive tool. So I wanted to make use of it to do as much as I possibly could. So I designed these mini album files to be able to use with my Cricut. And it's perfect for that because it does all the cutting for you, it does all the scoring for you, and I have designed them, all the pieces, so they fit together perfectly, so you have to do hardly any measuring at all. The only measuring you need to do is if you want to find the halfway point for something or something like that. So I also made this little booklet so that I could show you the files as we go and which pieces I cut out. So let's start with the pieces that I've cut out for the first page that we're going to do today. And I always start with the base page mat. Oops, I'm dropping bits all over the place here. I'll just grab all my bits. These are my little pieces here. Bit of a mess. Right. So I always start with cutting out my C2 base page mat. So the mats themselves in this book are in pink, and I've done that to be able to distinguish them from the base page or from the actual pieces themselves, which are in blue. To cut out all of the flips and pockets, belly bands, doors, inserts, tags, I'm using cardstock, and the cardstock that I'm using is the cream coloured Recollections cardstock. So that's the cardstock that I'm using. And to match the cardstock pieces, I am using this digital collection from Knitwit's collection called Always and Forever. And I will put the link to this in the description box below. And when I purchase a digital collection, which I love because I'm not limited by how many pieces of paper come in a pad, I print it out in this wallet style size so that I can easily look at the pages and decide which ones I want to print out, which ones I think will work together well. And this one comes with lots of bits of ephemera, which I have also printed out so that I can also have a look and see what I think might work there before I cut it out on my Cricut. So as I say, I put the link in the description box for that one. And you'll also find the link in the description box to my Etsy store in case you'd like to go and have a look at the Broderie SVG mini album files. Okay, so out of my digital scrapbook paper, I have cut this C2 and I've inked around the edge. And then these are all the different pockets that you get, lots. I've cut out 7 of these pieces, which is F6, which is this one here. And so I've cut 7 of those, and then I have cut 14 of the mats to go on that, which is F12. So they're the mats that go on F6. And I have cut 7 of these little tiddlers, which is this piece here, which is F13. And so I've cut 7 of those. And then I have cut out of this file here, which I've just called bits and pieces. I've cut out this piece here, which is J9, which is this one down here, and then 2 of the mats for J9, which are these 2 here, and they are J11, which is that one there, and I've cut 2 of those. On all my pieces, when I've cut them out, I just write the alphanumeric number on the piece itself in pencil, even the mats, so that if I don't use it, I know what it goes on if I want to use it again some other time. And also, if a piece just goes randomly walkabout, as they tend to do, then when I pick it up, I know exactly what piece it is. So that's what I've picked out for this page. So I'll put this to the side. And I'll bring out the album that we've been working on. So if you were to download the Broderie SVG files, in the size that they come in, you can make this album. This is 7 inches by 7 inches with a 3-inch spine, and it's got 6 pages. The beauty about SVG files is that you can scale them up to make a much bigger album if you want, instead of this little one here. So here's the pages that we've done so far, and we've already done a waterfall, a landscape waterfall with the lacy edges here, but today I thought we would do a portrait size or portrait style waterfall with these pieces that we've cut out. So excuse me, as soon as you start talking, get a croaky throat. So I have got these pieces here, which is F6, and the mats for those, which is F12. Now it's actually shaped like a pocket with these 2 tabs on each side, but I'm going to cut these tabs off so that it's not a pocket anymore, it's a flip, and I'm going to use it as the flip for my waterfall. So all I need to do is just cut these 2 tabs off, which I will do right now. So I will just get out my cutting tool, and I'm just lining up the score line. You probably can't see it, but there's a score line there that my Cricut's already done for me, and I'm just going to line it up on my score line and then just cut that tab off. Easy done. And this is one of the reasons why I call these versatile SVG files, because the pieces themselves are versatile in that I've just made a pocket into a flip. Easy peasy. Now I'm going to round the edges, so I'm just going to get my punch and round the edges, and then I'm just going to ink up those bits where I just cut it out. And I'm using Tim Holtz's Distress Ink in Vintage Photo, everyone's favourite, I think. And because it's a flip, I'm going to do both sides. So that's one that's done, and then I'm also going to do the corners on my mats, so they're ready to go on. If I flip that over, luckily this one doesn't have a direction, but I will just do a couple of corners on there. Okay, now we're all ready to go with that little piece there. Now if you'll just excuse me, I'm just going to turn the camera off while I go and have a cough and clear my throat, and I'll be back in a moment. Right, I'm back, and I think I've cleared my throat as much as I can. So I want to attach these, but I'm going to put a magnet on this top one to hold all the rest down with this little chap here. So let's do this little guy first. I want to put the mats on him. So I've already inked him up, and I've already inked the mats up, and I'm just going to glue him down. And I'm using this fabric glue by Helmar, which is really easy to find in Australia. So when it comes out, we're going to attach it down. Like so. Make sure I'm happy with where it's placed. And I'll do the same on the back. And I'm not going to put a magnet on this one, I'm going to use an eyelet, so I can mat it straight away. Like that. And then that's all ready for its little eyelet, which I might just leave for the moment. So I'll just pop him to the side. What I can do on this one is attach the mats on the back. So So this one here can go on. It's really hot again in Perth today. When in the Northern Hemisphere it's cold and wet and wintry, it is hot, hot, hot here. And then these tiny little pieces, which I can't even pick up. This piece here, F13, is going to go on along that little skinny bit there. So let's pop that down. Like so. Okay, now I think this will be our top one, and I don't want to put this mat on top yet because I want to put a magnet here. I'm using 7 of them today, and I have already done these ones so that they're all ready to go, so we didn't take so long. Now I have a spare piece of cardstock here, and my plan is to attach each one of these down onto this cardstock like so, in a nice little orderly row for our waterfall. So I might actually get out my protective mat so I don't get glue everywhere. Right, and then although we're going to go portrait style, I'm going to put it this way to put them down because it's just easier for me to work like that. So we did this in the last, this is exactly the same as what we did for the last waterfall. So I'm just putting a line of glue across here and then attaching my piece on here, lining it up where I'm happy with it. I'm pressing it down. This is just so I can make sure that it's spaced out nice and evenly. Oh, excuse me. And that they're all in a nice row and I don't mess up my base page. So then we can attach the next one. So a line of glue. Come out, glue. You could use double-sided tape for this. You could use double-sided tape for everything. I just like glue. Flip it over, press it down, and I'm just going to make sure that these two are lined up nicely. And if they are a bit off, it's probably more to do with where I cut the tabs off. But that looks pretty good. And then along here. I'm just going to do exactly the same thing here for everyone. Okay, so I have attached all of these little waterfall pieces down together onto this piece of cardstock, and all of them have been matted except for the top one. So now I'm just going to bring out my cutting board, and I'm just going to line this up along here and just trim off that bottom section of cardstock. And this is our little waterfall all ready to go on our page. So let's flip him back over and let's get out the album. And we can sort of place where we think we'd like it to go. So this is going to be my base page mat, my C2 base page mat. And then I just need to decide where I would like my waterfall to go. And I'm thinking, and the reason is because I need to attach this little guy too. And that's going to be determined by where we put it. So I'm sort of thinking that I might put it maybe about here, down the bottom, roughly. So let's see, maybe a little bit up from there, like so. I think that looks pretty good. So let's mark on here where we want this little chap to go, and then we can put him down. Oh, actually we should put a hole in him first, so let's just go back again, make sure, no we don't need to, we just need to put a hole in here. So I like to use my crocodile, putting the eyelet in, but I like to use my leather punch to put the hole in. So I'm going to roughly decide where I'm going to put this hole. Here we go. Okay, it's not centered, but never mind. And then I have these eyelets, which are just sewing eyelets, and they were silver, but I just used a bit of Tim Holtz's alcohol ink, and I used it in gold to change the colour of them. So I really only mainly buy gold, silver eyelets. Oh, I'm squashing it down. And it's really yucky and wonky on this side. So I'll just turn it over and squash that too. I always manage to lock it as well. So it looks good on this side. Well, it looks okay on this side. I'll just squash it again. Not so good on this side because the little shaft that you squash is quite long. When I squash it with the crocodile, it goes all sort of wonky. But I'm going to put that on the underside, and I'm hoping you won't notice. So I'm just going to attach this little guy down now. So I'll put some glue on this tab. And then I'm going to line it up on the edge of the page where I've put those little marks. Like that. Flip it over. Like that. Yeah, happy with that. Then I can put my, let's move that punch out of the way, I can put my base page mat on top. So let's do that. Really need to go out and get some more glue, but it's just too hot to go outside, go anywhere today. Maybe I'll brave it later. I think I'll go with the stripes up and down. And put that down. And then we can put this one down. So I'm just going to put glue on that piece of cardstock that we stuck it to, and then down the edges of my little waterfall pieces. And then we can pop this one down. And what I need to be careful of is that this guy here reaches over far enough onto here where I can place the magnet. So I'm paying attention to that whilst I'm laying it down. Like so. That's good. So let's press it down there. And I'm just going to run my finger, I could use my bone folder I guess, and just down those pieces here to make sure that it's adhered to the page. I'm just going to do that all the way along. And my last one. Bit of glue coming out the edge, so I'm just going to grab this little rag here and wipe that off. Perfect. Now we can put a magnet on there and we're done. So I am using some basic grey magnets. I have one of these little guys left. I'm just going to pop it on top of the eyelet and pull the backing off. I hope I'm in camera and you can see this. I'm going to pull the backing off. Ooh. And and then we can just flip it over and stick it down. Perfect. And then all we need to do is just put the mat on top of that one, and this page is done. Super easy. Cute. So I can do some embellishing along the top there. I might put a little bit more glue just on this side to make sure it gets past that magnet. Squash it down, maybe with the bone folder might help. There we go. So I might do a bit of embellishing or something up there. I'm not sure yet, but we have left that opportunity there. There we go. So, and I might also maybe hang something off here. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet either, but there's another page, and I think we can probably do one more, or our last page. Why not? I have already cut all the pieces out, so let's just kick on because I'm having fun. So, and the last page is pretty simple, so let's do it. So for the last page, I've cut out a few pieces, not too much. So let's put the album to the side. I've got my pieces here, and I will grab my book. Where have I put your book? So I can show you which pieces I've cut out. You can't find it? Slid down over here. So, as with the beginning of every page, I cut out my base page mat C2, and that's that one, cut out and inked around the edges. And then I have cut out this piece here, D2, just one of those, and that's that piece there. And then I have cut out 2 mats for that D2 piece, and that's those 2 there. And then the only other couple of things that I've cut out for this page is the H2 door or pocket, which is this one here, and I've already inked around it. And then I've cut out the H4, which is the mat for that pocket, and that's that one there. And then lastly, I have cut out 2 of these J4s, which are the fancy lacy edge belly bands, and they look like this. And I've actually gone ahead and trimmed off the tabs on the second one of those and then glued it onto the back, and the only reason I've done that is just to sort of reinforce it and make it that little bit stronger. So that is 2 together, but I've cut the tabs off one of them, and so that's the J4. So that's all we need for this page, so let's get cracking. So this one here, this D2, I would like it to be a flip, and I want to flip it from the top of the album up the ways. So I need this tab here, but I do not need these 3, so I can go ahead and trim those off with my cutting tool. So let's do that. So I'm just going to line up those score lines again and trim it off. And this one. And the last one. Oh, I've nearly finished all the pages. This is exciting. We're getting to the good bit, which is the embellishing. Love that. Although it does take me forever to embellish because I'm so indecisive. Okay, so we've just made that pocket into a flip, and I am going to round the corners. You could use a nice corner punch if you wanted to for this, but I'm happy with just the rounded edges, rounded corners. So I'm just going to ink around those bits that I've just trimmed off. And because it's a flip, I need to do the back as well. And that's that guy done. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the mats for that straight away. And I think I'll go with pink on top. Let's have a look at the page. Oh no, it's a page all on its own, isn't it? It's the last page of our album. I just really like this pattern. So I'm going to round the corners of my mats as well. And same with this one. And then I will just finish up those little corners. This is just a quick little page at the end, so we can just squeeze it in. So I'm just going to glue this mat together. I'll glue this mat onto this flip. Like so. And then flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on this back side. Like so. Make sure I've got it the right way around. Pop it down. Once our flip all done, we can attach that to the page. While we're matting, we can also do this little guy here, which is H2, and the mat for that is H4, and we're just using that as a pocket, just as it is. So I've already inked around the edges of the pocket and around the edge of my mat, so I can just pop those down. So this is a really quick little page, and it's really easy to do. Quite a quick little album with this if you just stuck to some simple pages, you know, flip or two in a pocket. Doesn't have to be, every page doesn't have to be different, or you could just choose 3 pages and 3-page designs and repeat them. I'm only doing a different one on each page just so I can show you how versatile each of the pieces are. So that's all ready to go on our album. So here we go. Yay, last page. Right, so this little flip I want to go at the top, and I'm going to try and roughly figure out where the center is. Maybe I'll measure it, because if I don't get it right, I will be disappointed that it looks wonky. So I know that this page is, my ruler's too long. I'll turn it upside down. 15.2 centimeters, which means 7.6 would be about half. 7.6 would be about half. And then this little guy, I want to, here's 12.7, so if we said maybe about 6.3, 6.2 would be about half. And so I'll just put the tiniest of little marks on that tab, and we'll put some glue on that tab. And I'm just going to try and line it up, sort of roughly, so if my head's in the way, that doesn't look lined up. Let's go about like that, and press it down, and press down that tab so it's stuck pretty well. I'm just going to burnish it. All the glue just came out the bottom, all over my burn folder. And I'm just going to lift it up and make sure that I'm happy with how it's stuck on the top there. I feel like it could just come down a touch. Right, so there we've got a little flip. And then I'm going to put my base page mat straight over the top of that, like that. So let's go ahead and do that. Just as well, we're nearly finished. I'm running out of glue. that one down, like so. Now my idea is I'm going to attach this pocket here that we've already put the mat on down the bottom here, and this flip's going to come over, but to hold this flip in place I'm going to attach this belly band to my pocket, and then we can slide something into the belly band, and when we do that it'll hold this flip down. So I just want to make sure that it's going to fit where it's going to fit on my pocket, and maybe I'll move it up a little touch, and I think it's pretty good there, so I'm just going to put a little mark there, and then I'll just slide my album away, and I'm going to attach my belly band tabs to the tabs of my pocket in line with where I just decided I wanted it to go. So let's do that. A big huge piece of glue, blob of glue just came out of the top of that disgusting end of my glue bottle. Okay, so let's line it up there and straight across, pull it over a little touch like that. Looks good. And there's so much glue oozing out here from my glue bottle. Can't think of the words. Okay, so then when we fold that over, that should hold our belly band in place nicely, and then we can attach it to the page like that. So let's do that, and then we have done 12 pages of our album, which I'm pretty chuffed about. Okay, so just putting some glue on our tabs. Oop, on this one, and then on this last one. And I'm going to attach that straight down to the page. Oh, my fingers are so gluey. There we go. See, that page is so quick and easy, but I think once we pop something in this belly band, it'll be fabulous. So I'm just, oops, and make sure it's stuck on the edges. My waterfall from the other page keeps coming apart. So I'm just going to burnish that down so it's really stuck on there. And that is our last page. Look at that. Fabulous. So we have done these 2 pages here. We've done this one, and then when we flip over we've done this one, and we will do some inserts next so that we can slide into these places and it will hold that flip down. So thanks very much for joining me today. I might have to look at that as well because that's not sticking as well as I'd like it to. And we have done all 12 pages of our album, and so next time I think we will need to do the inside covers, maybe some, and we need to do some inserts and tags. We need to embellish the front or the outside of our album, and I think then we'll be done. But it's really getting somewhere, and it's sitting really nicely as well. So thanks very much for joining me today for those last 2 pages. I'm excited to get on to something else in the album now. If you're interested, you can pick up my Broderie SVG files for mini albums from my Etsy store, and I hope that you'll join me again soon while we finish off this album. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.